1, Scene 1.
Who's there?
Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself.
Long live the king.
Bernardo,
He.
you come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco.
For this relief much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart.
Have you had quiet guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Well, good night. Oh, if you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
I think I hear them. Stand ho, who's there?
Friends to this ground.
And liegemen to the Dane.
Give you good night.
Oh, farewell, honest soldier. Who hath relieved you?
Bernardo hath my place. Give you good night.
Allah, Bernardo.
Say, what, is Horatio there?
A piece of her.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What has this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us. Therefore, I have entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it.
Tush, tush. 'Twill not appear.
Oh, sit down a while. Let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story, what we have seen 2 nights.
Well, let us sit down and hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made his course to illume that part of heaven where it now burns, Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating 1.
Peace, break thee off. Look where it comes again.
The same figure like the king that's dead.
Thou art a scholar, speak to it, Horatio.
Looks he not like the king? Mark it, Horatio.
Most like it. It harrows me with fear and wonder.
It would be spoke to.
Speak to it, Horatio.
What art thou that usurped this time of night together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of very Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak.
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Say, speak. Speak, I charge thee, speak.
'Tis gone and will not answer.
Oh, now, Horatio, you tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy? What think you on't?
Before my God, I might not believe this without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes.
Is it not like the king?
As thou art myself. Such was the very armor he had on when the ambitious Norway combated. So frowned he once when in angry parley smote the sledded Polacks on the ice. 'Tis strange.
Thus twice before, and jump at this dead hour, with martial stalk hath he gone by our watch.
In what particular thought to work I know not, but in the grossing scope of mine own opinion, this boded some strange eruption for our state.
Good now, sit down and tell me, he that knows, why the same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land, and why such daily cast of brazen cannon and foreign marks of war, why such impress of sword task does not divide the Sunday week? What might be toward that sweaty haste doth make the night join laborer with the day? Who is that can inform me?
That can I. At least the whisper goes. Our last king, whose image even but now appears to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, thereto pricked on by a most emulate pride, dared to the combat, in which our valiant Hamlet, for so this side of our world esteemed him, did slay this Fortinbras, who by a sealed compact well ratified by law and heraldry did forfeit with his life all those his lands which he stood seized of to the conqueror. Against the which a moiety competent was gagged by our king, which had returned the inheritance of Fortinbras. Had he been the vanquisher, as by same comart and carriage of the articles designed, has fell to Hamlet. Now, sir, young Fortinbras of unimproved metal, hot and full, had in the skirts of Norway here and there sharked up a list of lawless resolutes for food and diet in some enterprise. He hath a stomach in it, which is no other, as it doth well appear to our state, but to recover of us by a strong hand and terms compulsory those foresaid lands so by his father lost. And this, I take it, is the main motive of our preparation, the sources of this our watch, and the chief head of this post-haste rummage in the land.
I think it be no other, but e'en so, well may it sort that this portentous figure comes armed through our watch, so like the king that was and is in the question of these wars.
A mote it is to trouble the mind's eye. In the most high and palmy state of Rome, a little ere the mightiest Julius fell, the graves stood tenantless, the sheeted dead did squeak and gibber in the Roman streets, as stars with trains of fire and dews of blood, disasters in the sun, and the moist star upon whose influence Neptune empire stand was sick, almost to doomsday with eclipse. And even the like precursor of feared events as harbingers preceding still the fates and prologue to the omen coming on. Have heaven and earth together demonstrated up to our climentures and countrymen. But soft, behold, lo, where it comes again, I'll cross it, they'll blast me. Stay, illusion! If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done that may to thee do ease and grace me, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh, speak. Or if thou hast uphoarded in thy life extorted treasure in the womb of earth, which they say you spirits oft walk in death, speak of it. Stay and speak. Stop it, Marcellus.
Shall I strike it with my partisan?
Do if it will not stand.
'Tis here.
'Tis here.
'Tis gone. We do it wrong, being so majestical to offer it the show of violence, for it is as the air, invulnerable and profane, malicious mockery.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
And then it started like a guilty thing upon a fearful summons. I have heard the cock that it is a trumpet to the morn, both with his lofty and shrill-sounding throat awake the god of the day. That is warning, whether in sea or fire, earth or air, the extravagant and airy spirit hies to this confine, and the truth herein, the present object made probation.
It faded on the crowing of the cock. Some say that ever gainst that season comes wherein our Savior's birth is celebrated. This bird of dawning singeth all night long, and then they say no spirit dare stir abroad. The nights are wholesome, the no planet strike, no fairy takes, nor witch hath power to charm. So hallowed and so gracious is that time.
So have I heard, and do in part believe it. But look, the morn in russet mantle cloud walks o'er the dew of yon eastward hill. Break thee up our watch, and by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit dumb to us will speak to him. Do you consent we shall acquaint with him and as needs and our loves fitting our duty?
Let's do it, I pray, and I this morning know where we shall find him most convenient.
Act 1, Scene 2.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping eye, with mirth in funeral and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along, for all our thanks. Now follows that you know young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death our state to be disjoint and out of frame, colleagued with this dream of his advantage, he hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father, with all bonds of law, to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Now, for ourselves and for this time of meeting, thus much the business is. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who, impotent and bedrid, scarcely hears of this his nephew's purpose, to suppress his further gait herein, and that the levies, the lists, and full proportions are all made out of his subject. And we here dispatch you, good Cornelius, and you, Voltimand, for bearers of this greeting to old Norway, giving you no further personal power to business with the king, more than the scope of these dilated articles allow. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty.
In that and all things will we show our duty.
We doubted nothing. Heartily farewell. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is, Laertes? You cannot speak of reason to the Dane and lose your voice. What wouldst thou beg, Laertes, that shall not be my offer, not thy asking? The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth than is the throne of Denmark to thy father. What wouldst thou have, Laertes?
My dread lord, your leave and favor to return to France, from whence, though willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation, yet now I must confess that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again toward France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius?
Hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laboursome petition, and at last, upon his will, I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes. Time be thine, in thy best graces, spend it at thy will. But now, my cousin Hamlet, and my son.
Little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun.
But Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off. Let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. For knowest 'tis common, all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam. Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected havior of the visage, together with all forms, mood, shapes of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have that within which patches show, these but the trapping and suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know your father lost a father. That father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious care. But to persever in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, an understanding simple and unschooled. For what we know must be and is as common as any the most vulgar thing to sense. Why should we in our peevish opposition take it to heart? Fie, 'tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common theme is death of fathers, and who still have cried from the first course till he that died today, this must be so. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son do I impart toward you. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you, to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee stay with us, go not to Wittenberg.
I shall, in all my best, obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart, in grace whereof no jocund health that Denmark drinks today, but the great cannon to the clouds shall tell, and the king's rouse the heaven shall brew it again, bespeaking earthly thunder. Come, away.
This too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it. Fie. 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this. 2 months dead. Nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion, to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not redeem the winds of heaven, visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth, how must I remember? Why? She would hang on him as if his crease of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month. Let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, for ere those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe, all tears, why she, even she, oh God, beast that once discord of reason would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month. Ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tear had left the flushing in all her galled eyes, she married. Most wicked speed to boast with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good. But break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
I'm glad to see you well, Horatio, or I do forget myself.
The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
My good friend, I'll change that name with you. And what makes you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus?
My good lord.
I'm very glad to see you. Good even, sir. What, in faith, make you from Wittenberg?
A truant disposition, good my lord.
Will not hear your enemy say so, nor shall you do my ear that violence to make it truster of your own report against yourself. No, you're no truant. What is your Farron Elsinore? We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. When I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or I had seen that day, Horatio. My father. Things I see my father.
Where, my lord?
My mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon this again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
So,
My lord, the king your father.
King my father.
Season your admiration for a while with an attent ear, till I may deliver upon the witness of these gentlemen this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch in the dead waste and middle of the night, been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at point exactly cap a pie, appears before them, and with a solemn march goes slow and stately by them. Thrice he walked by their pressed and fear surprised eyes, with his truncheon length, while they, stilled almost to jelly with the act of fear, stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me in dreadful secrecy impart they did, and I with them the 3rd night kept the watch, where as they delivered both in time and form of the thing, each word made true and good, the apparition comes. I knew your father, these hands are not more like.
Where was this?
My lord, upon the platform where we watch.
Did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none. Yet once methought it lift up its head and did address itself to motion, like as it would speak. But even then, the morning crock crew loud, and at the sound it shrunk away in haste and vanished from our sight. As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true. And we did think it writ down on our duty to let you know of it.
Indeed, sirs. But this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight.
We do, my lord.
Armed, say you?
Armed, my lord.
From top to toe.
My lord, from head to foot.
Saw you not his face?
Oh, yes, my lord. He wore his beaver up.
What? Looked he frowningly?
A countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
Pale or red?
Oh, very pale.
His eyes fixed upon you.
Most constantly.
How would I have?
It would have much amazed you.
Very like. Stayed it long.
While one with moderate haste might tell 100?
Longer, longer.
But not when I saw it.
His beard, was grizzled, no?
It was as I have seen in his life a sabled silver.
I will watch tonight. Chance to walk again.
I warn it will.
If it is soon my noble father's persona, I'll speak to it. Though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace, I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. And whomsoever what else shall hap tonight, given an understanding but no tongue, I will requite your loves. Fare you well. Upon the platform twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty to your honor.
Your loves is mine to you. Farewell. My father's spirit in arms. All is not well. I doubt some foul play. But the night will come. Till then, sit still my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth will whelm them to midden's eyes.
Act 1, Scene 3.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And sister, as the winds give benefit and convey as assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet and the trifling of his favor, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of thy primy nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more.
No more but so?
Think it no more. For nature, crescent does not grow alone, enthuse in bulk, but as this temple waxes, the inward service of the mind and soul grows wide withal. Perhaps he loves you now, and now no soil nor catall doth besmirch the virtue of his will, but you must fear. His greatness weighed, his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself, for on his own choice depends the safety and the health of this whole state. And therefore must his choice be circumscribed unto the voice and yielding of that body whereof he is the head. Then if he says he loves you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it as he in his particular act and place may give his saying deed, which is no further than the main voice of Denmark goes withal. Then weigh what loss your honor may sustain, if with too credent ear you list his songs, or loose your heart or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia. Fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire. The cherished maid is prodigal enough if she unmask her beauty to the moon. Virtue itself scapes not calamitous strokes, the canker galls the infants of the spring too oft before their buttons be disclosed, and in the morn and liquid dew of youth contagious blasphements are most eminent. Be wary then, best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman in my heart. But, good brother, do not, as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whilst, like a puffed and reckless libertine, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads and recks not in his own reed.
No, fear me not. I stay too long, but here my father comes. A double blessing is a double grace. Occasion smiles upon a second leave.
Yet here, Laertes, aboard for shame! The wind sits in the shoulder of thy sail, and you are stayed for. There, my blessing with thee. And these few precepts in my memory, look thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast in their adoption tried, grapple them onto thy soul with hoops of steel, but do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new-hatched, unfledged courage, and beware of entrance to a quarrel. But being in, bear it that opposed may beware of thee. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy, rich, not gaudy. For the apparel oft proclaims the man, and they in France of the best rank and station are the most select and generous chief in that. Oh, neither a borrower nor a lender be. For loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This, above all, to thy own self be true. And it must follow, as the night to the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell, my blessing, season this in thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
Oh, the time invests you! Go, your servants tend!
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
What is it, Ophelia, he hath said to you?
So please you, something touching the Lord Hamlet.
Marry, well bethought. 'Tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you, and you yourself have of your audience been most free and bounteous. If it be so, as so 'tis put on me in that way of caution, I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly as it behooves my daughter and your honor. What is it between you? Give up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Oh, affection, pooh, you speak like a green girl, unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
Mary, I will teach you. Think yourself a baby, that you have ta'en these tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. No, tender yourself more dearly, or, not to crack the wind of the poor phrase, running it thus, you'll tender me a fool.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love in honorable fashion, and...
Fashion, you call it, go to.
And he hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Aye, as springs to catch woodcocks. I do know, when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. These blazes, daughter, giving more light than heat, extinct in both, even in their promise, as it is a making. You must not take for fire. This time, be something scanter of your maiden presence. Set your entreatments at a higher rate than a command to parley. For Lord Hamlet, believe so much in him that he is young, and with a larger tether he may walk than may be given you. And few, Ophelia, do not believe his vows, for they are brokers, not of that dye which their investments show, but mere implorators of unholy suits, breathing like sanctified and pious bawds, the better to beguile. This is for all. I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you so slander any moment leisure as to give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I beseech you. Come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
Act 1, Scene 4.
The air bites. Very cold.
Ripping in an eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed, I heard it not. It then draws near the season wherein the spirit held is wont to talk. What does this mean, my lord?
The king doth wake tonight, and takes his rouse. Keeps the sail, and the swagging up spring reels. And as he drains his draughts, and finish down, the kettle drum and trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his.
Is it a custom?
Aye, Mary, is it? But to my mind, though, I'm a native here and to the manor born. It is a custom more honored in the breach than the observance. This heavy-headed revel, east and west, makes us traduced and taxed of other nations. They clep us drunkard, and with such swinish rage soil our addition. And indeed, it takes from our achievements, though performed at height, the pith and marrow of our attribute. So oft it chances, in particular men, that for some vicious mole of nature is in their birth, wherein they are not guilty, since nature cannot choose his origin. By the overgrowth of some complexion, oft breaking down the pales and forts of reason, or by some habit that too much o'erleans the form of plausive manners, and that these men, carrying, I say, the stamp of one defect, being nature's livery or fortune's star, his virtues else, be as pure as grace, as infinite a man may undergo, shall, in general censure, take corruption, and that particular fault. Trim of evil doth all noble substance have a doubt, to his own a scandal.
Look, my lord, it comes.
Angels and ministers of grace, defend us. Be thou a spirit of health, O goblin damned. Bring with thee airs from heaven or blasts from hell. Be thy intents wicked or charitable. Thou comest in such a questionable shape. And I'll speak to thee, I'll call thee Hamlet. King? Father? Royal Dane? Answer me! Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, hearsed in death, burst their cerements. Why the sepulchre, wherein we saw thee quietly interred, hath oped his ponderous and marble jaws to cast thee up again. What may this mean? That thou, dead corse, again, in complete steel, revisits thus the glimpse of the moon, making night hideous, and we fools of nature so hardly to shake our disposition with the thoughts beyond reaches of our souls. Why is this? Wherefore? What should we do?
It beckons you to go away with it, as if some importance to desire to you alone.
Look with what courteous action it waves you to a more removed ground, but do not go with it.
No, by no means.
You will not speak? Then I will follow it.
Do not, my lord.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life at a pin's feet. As for my soul, what can it do to that, being an immortal thing as itself? It waves me forth again. I will follow it.
What if it tempt you toward the flood, my lord? Or to the dreadful summit of the cliff that beetles o'er his base into the sea, and there soon some other horrible form that might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness? Think of it. The very place puts toys of desperation without more motive into every brain that looks so many fathoms into the sea and hears it roar beneath.
It waves me still. Go on. I'll follow thee.
You shall not go, my lord.
Hold off your hands!
Be ruled! You shall not go!
My fate cries out and makes each petty archer in this body as hardy as the Nemean lion's nerve. Still am I called. Unhand me, gentlemen! By heaven, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me. Wait. Go on. I'll follow thee.
He lacks his desperate with imagination.
Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him.
Have after. What issue will this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, let's follow him.
Act 1, Scene 5.
Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak. I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak. I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast and fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away, but that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house. I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars spark from their spears, thy knotted and combined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand on end like the quills upon the fearful porpentine. But this eternal blazon must not be. To ears of flesh and blood, list, list, list. If thou didst ever thy dear father love,
oh God,
revenge his foul and most unnatural murder. Murder most foul, as in the base it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I, with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love, may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee apt, and duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that roots itself in ease on leaf worth. Wouldst thou not stir in this? Now, Hamlet, hear. 'Tis given out that sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me, so the whole ear of Denmark is, by a forged process of my death, rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
My prophetic soul. My uncle!
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wits, with traitorous gifts, O wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce one to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. O Hamlet, what a falling off was there! from me, whose love was of that dignity that it went hand in hand even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But virtue, as it never will be moved, though lewdness courted in the shape of heaven, so lust, though to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in a celestial bed and prey on garbage. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be, sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon. Upon my secure hour thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Habonia in a vial, and in the porches of my ear did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man that quick as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor it doth pus it and curd like eager droppings into milk the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine, and in a most instant tenor barked about, most Lazar-like, with vile and loathsome crust all of my smooth body. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off, even in the blossoms of my sin, unhouselled, disappointed, unnanneled, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible! Oh, horrible! Most horrible. If thou hast nature in thee, spare it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But however thou pursues this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge, to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matins to be near, and gins to pale his ineffectual fire. Adieu. 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 Remember me.
Oh, you host of heaven, oh, earth, what else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fie! Hold, my lord. You, my sin is not grow so instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee. I, thy poor ghost, while memories hold seat in distracted globe. Remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial, fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all precious past that youth and observation copied there. And commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven, O most pernicious woman, O villain, villain, smiling, taunted villain. At least I am sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is adieu, adieu. Remember me. I am sworn it.
My lord,
Lord Hamlet.
heaven secure him.
So be it.
Ho, my lord.
Ho, ho, boy. Come, bird, come.
How's my noble lord?
What news, my lord?
Oh, how wonderful.
Good, my lord, tell it.
No. You reveal it.
Not I, my lord, by heaven.
Nor I, my lord.
How say you then? What heart of man once think it, but you'll be secret.
By heaven, my lord.
There's never a villain dwelling in Denmark, but he's an errant knave.
There's needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this.
Why, right. You are in the right. And so, without more circumstance at all, would it fit that we shake hands and part? You as your business and desire shall point you, for every man hath business and desire, such it is. And for my own part, I will go pray.
These are but wild and whirling words, my lord.
They offend you heartily. Yes, faith. Heartily.
There's no offense, my lord.
Yes. By St. Patrick, but there is ratio. And much offense, too, touching this vision here. It's an honest ghost, let me tell you. For your desire to know what is between us, will master it as you may. Now, good friends, as you are friends, scholars and soldiers, give me one poor request.
What is it, my lord? We will.
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord will not.
Nay, swear it.
In faith, my lord, not I.
Nor I, my lord, in faith.
Upon my sword.
We have sworn, my lord, already.
Indeed, upon my sword, indeed.
Swear.
Wait, sayest thou? Art thou there, true pity? Come on, you hear this fellow in the cellarage. Consent to swear.
Propose the worth, my lord.
Never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword.
Swear.
It will shift our ground. Come hither, gentlemen, and lay your hands again upon my sword. Swear by my sword, never to speak of this that you have heard.
Swear by his sword.
Said old mole, working the earth so fast. A worthy pioneer. Once more, remove, good friends.
Oh, dear knight, this is wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Come here, as before. Never, so help your mercy, how strange or odd somewhere I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on to you, at such time seeing me, shall never with arms encumbered thus, or with this head shake, or by pronouncing some dreadful phrase, as, well, we know, or we could have it, or we list to speak, or or there be an if they might, or such ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me. This do swear, so grace and mercy at your most need help you.
Swear.
Rest, the fervent spirit. So, gentlemen, with all my love I do commend me to you. What so poor a man as Hamlet is may do express his love and friending to you. God willing, shall not lack. Let's go in together. Still your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Cursed spite that ever I was born to set it right. They come, let's go together.
Act 2, Scene 1.
Give him this money and these notes, Reynaldo.
I will, my lord.
You shall do marvelous wisely, good Reynaldo. Before you visit him to make inquire of his behavior.
My lord, I did intend it.
Mary, well said, very well said. Now look you, sir. Inquire me first what danskers are in Paris, and how and who, what means, and where they keep, or what company, at what expense, and finding by this encompassment and drift of question that they do know my son, come you more nearer than your particular demands will touch it. Take you, as it were, some distant knowledge of him, as thus, I know his father and his friends, and in part him. Do you mark this, Reynaldo?
Aye, very well, my lord.
And in part him. But you may say, not well, but if it be he, I mean, oh, he's very wild, addicted, so-and-so, and there put on him what forgeries you please. Mary, none so rank as would dishonor him. Take heed of that. But such, sir, such wanton, wild, unusual slips as our companions noted and most known to youth and liberty.
As gaming, my lord.
Aye, or drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, drabbing, you may go so far.
My lord, that would dishonor him.
Faith, no, as you may season it in the charge. You may not put another scandal on him that he is open to inconstancy, incontinency, that's not my meaning, but breathe his faults so quaintly that they may seem the taints of liberty, the flash and outbreak of fiery mind, as savageness in unreclaimed blood of general assault.
But, my good lord.
Wherefore should you do this?
Aye, my lord, I would know that.
Mary, sir, here's my drift, and I believe it is a fetch of wit. You, lying these slight sullies on my son, as 'twere a thing a little soiled in the working, mark you your party and converse him you would sound, having ever seen in the predominant crimes the youth you breathe of guilty. Be assured he closes with you in this consequence, good sir, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase of the addition of man and country.
Very good, my lord.
And then, sir, does he this, he does... What was I about to say? By the mess, I was about to say something. Where did I leave?
At closes in the consequence, as friend or so, and gentleman.
At closes at the consequence. I, Mary, he closes thus. I know the gentleman. I saw him yesterday, or the other day, or then, or with such and such, and as you say, there was he gaming, there he overtook in his rouse, there falling out of tennis, or perchance I saw him enter such a house of sale, vidilage at a brothel, so forth. See you now, your bait of falsehood, take this carp of truth, and thus do we of wisdom and of reach with windlasses and with the says of bias by indirections, find directions out. So, by my former lecture and advice, shall you, my son? You have me, have you not?
My lord, I have.
God be with you. Fare thee well.
Good, my lord.
Observe his inclination in yourself.
I shall, my lord.
And let him ply his music.
Well, my lord.
Farewell. Oh, how now, Ophelia? What's the matter?
Oh, my lord, I have been so frightened.
With what, in the name of God?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet with his doublet all embraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, unguarded, and downgraved to his ankle, pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous and purport as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors. He came before me.
Mad for thy love.
My lord, I do not know, but I fear I do it.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow he falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last, a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus waving up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound, as if it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seems to find his way without his eyes, for out o' doors we went without their helps, and till last the bended their light on me.
Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property foredoes itself, and leads the will to desperate undertakings, as oft any passions under heaven that does afflict our natures. I am sorry. What? Have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repel his letters and denied his access to me.
That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not cold-coated him. I fear he did but trifle and meant to rack thee. But beshrew my jealousy. By heaven, it is as proper to our age to cast beyond ourselves and our opinions as it is common for the younger sort to lack discretion. Come, go we with the king, go we to the king. This must be known, which, being kept close, might move more grief to hide than hate to utter love. Come.
Act 2, Scene 2.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we much did long to see you. The need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation, so call it, saith nor the exterior nor the inward man resembles that it was. What it should be, more than his father's death, that thus hath put him so much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream of. I entreat you both that, being of so young days brought up with him, and sith so neighbour to his youth and behaviour, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companies to draw him on to pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasion you may glean, whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus, that opened lies within our remedy.
Good gentlemen, he hath much talked of you, and I am sure 2 men there is not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties, might by the sovereign power you have of us put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreaty.
But we both obey it, and here give up ourselves in the full bent, to lay our service freely at your feet, to be commanded.
Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern.
Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz. And I beseech you instantly to visit me too much, my changed son. Go, some of you, and bring these gentlemen where Hamlet is.
Heavens make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Aye, amen.
The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, are joyfully returned.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Oh, have I, my lord? No, I assure my good liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king. And I do think, or else this brain of mine hunts not the trail of policy, so sure as it hath used to do, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That do I long to hear.
Give first admittance to the ambassadors. My news shall be the first to that, my fruit to that great feast.
Thyself do grace to them and bring them in. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, he hath found the head and source of all your son's distemper.
I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death and our hasty marriage.
Well, we shall sift him. Say, Voldement, what from our brother Norway?
Most fair return of greetings and desires. Upon our first, he sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be a preparation against the Polack. But, better looked into, he truly found it was against your highness, whereat grieved that so his sickness, age, and impotence was falsely borne in hand, sends out arrests on Fortinbras, which he, in brief, obeys, receives rebuke from Norway, and in fine makes vow before his uncle never more to give the assay of arms against your majesty. Whereon old Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 70,000 crowns in annual fee, and his commission to employ those soldiers, so levied as before, against the Polack, with an entreaty, herein further shown, that it might please you to give quiet pass through your dominions for this enterprise, on such regards of safety and allowance as therein are set down.
It likes us well. And at our more considered time, we'll read, answer, and think upon this business. Meantime, we thank you for your well-took labor. Go to your rest. At night, we'll feast together. Most welcome home.
This business is well ended. My liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, what day is day, night, night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tedious the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad, call I it, for to define true madness. What is it but to be nothing but mad? But let that go.
Or matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he's mad, 'tis true, 'tis true, 'tis pity, and pity, 'tis true. A foolish figure, but fair will it, so I will use no art. Mad, let us grant him then, and now remains that we find out the cause of this effect, or rather say the cause of this defect, for thus defective comes by cause. Thus it remains, and the remainder thus. Perpend. I have a daughter, while she is mine, who in her duty and obedience mark hath given me this. Now gather and surmise to the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. Oh, that's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase, but you shall hear thus. In her excellent white bosom, these etc.
This from Hamlet to her?
Oh, good madam, stay a while, I will be faithful. Doubt thou the stars of fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh, dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but I love thee best, oh, most best, believe it, adieu. Thine evermore, most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet. Now, this in obedience hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time, by means, and place, all given to mine ear.
But how hath she received his love?
Oh, what do you think of me?
As of a man faithful and honorable.
I would fain prove so, but what you might think when I had seen this hot love on the wing, as I perceived it, I must tell you that before my daughter told me, what might you or my dear majesty, your queen here, think if I had played the desk or table book, or given my heart a winking, mute and dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight? Oh, what might you think? No, No, I went round to work, and my young mistress did I bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince, out of thy star, this must not be. And then I prescripts gave her that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens, which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he, repelled, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence to a watch, thence to a weakness, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein now he raves, and we all mourn for.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be, very like.
Oh, hath there been such a time? I would fain know that I have positively said 'tis so, when it proved otherwise.
Not that I know.
No, take this from this, if this be otherwise. If circumstances lead me, I will find where truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the center.
How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together here in the lobby.
So he does indeed.
At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then. Mark the encounter. If he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant for a state, but keep a farm and carters.
We will try it.
But look where sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
Away, I do beseech you, away. I'll board him presently. Oh, give me leave. Oh, does my good lord Hamlet? How does he?
Well,
that
God a mercy.
Oh, do you know me, my lord?
Aye. Very well. You're a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
Then I would were you were an honest man.
Honest, my lord.
Well, aye, sir. To be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my lord.
For if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a good kisser and being a good kissing carrion. Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but as your daughter may conceive, friend, look to it.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter. Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone. And truly in my youth I suffered much extremity for love. Very near this. Speak to him again. Oh, what do you read, my lord?
Words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
No, I mean the matter that you read, my lord.
Slanders, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards and that their faces are wrinkled, their eyes purging thick amber and plum tree gum, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hams, all which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe it, hold it not honesty to have it thus set down. For yourself, sir, shall grow as old as I am, if, like a crab, you could go backward.
Though this be madness, yet there is method in it. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
To my grave.
Indeed, that's out of the air. How pregnant sometimes his replies are. Happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not so prosperously be delivered of. I will leave him and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. By leave, I will take leave of you.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I will more willingly part withal. Except my life. Except my life. Except my life.
Fare you well, my lord.
These tedious old fools.
You go to seek the Lord Hamlet. There he is.
God save you, sir.
My honored lord.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends. How dost thou, Guildenstern? Rosencrantz. Good lads, how do you both?
As indifferent children of the earth.
Happy in that we are not over happy on fortune's cap. We are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe?
Neither, my lord.
Then you live about her waist. Or in the middle of her favors?
Faith, her privates, we.
Oh, and secret parts of fortune. Oh, most true. She is a strumpet. What news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
That is doomsday near. But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord?
Denmark's a prison.
Then there's the world one.
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons. Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not, my lord.
Why then, 'tis none to you. There's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison.
Why then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
Oh, God. I could be bound in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space. But not that I have bad dreams.
Which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream.
A dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly, and I hold ambition of so airy and light a quality that it is but a shadow's shadow.
Then are our beggars' bodies and our monarchs and our outstretched heroes the beggars of shadows. Shall we to the court? For by my faith, I cannot reason.
We'll wait upon you.
No such matter. I will not sort you with the rest of my servants. But to speak to you like an honest man, I'm most dreadfully attended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord. No other occasion.
Beggar that I am even more poor in thanks. I thank you. And sure, my dear friends, my thanks are too dear half a penny. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come. Come, nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Anything but to the purpose. You were sent for. There's a kind of confession in your looks. Your modesties are not craft enough to color. Another good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me. Let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more dear a better prosperer can charge you withal. Be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
Nay then, have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
And I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen molt no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone customs, exercises, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory, this most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. What? It appeareth nothing to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is man. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form, in moving, how express and admirable in action, like an angel in apprehension. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, no woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
God.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We quoted them on our way, and hither are they coming to offer you service.
He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute on me. The adventurous knight shall use his foil and target, the lover shall sigh gratis, the humorous man shall end his pot in peace. The clown shall make those laugh, and whose lunges are to tickle or the seer. And the lady shall say her mind freely, or the blank verse shall halt for it. What players are they?
Even those you were wont to take such delight in, the tragedians of the city.
How chances it they travel? Their residence, both in reputation and profit, was better in both ways.
I think their inhibition comes by the means of the late innovation.
Do they hold the same estimation they did when I was in the city? Are they so followed?
No, indeed they are not.
How comes it? Do they go rusty?
Nay, their endeavor keeps in the wanted place, but there is, sir, an area of children, little eyases with their cry out on the top of a question, and are most tyrannically clapped for it. These are now the fashion, and so berattle common stages, so they call them, that many wearing rapiers are afraid to goose quills, and dare scarce come thither.
What are they, children? Who maintains them? How are they escorted? Will they pursue the quality no longer they can sing? Will they not say afterwards, if they should grow themselves to common players, as it is most like, if their means are no better, their writers do them wrong to make them exclaim against their own succession?
Faith, there has been much to do on both sides, and the nations hold it no sin to tar them to controversy. There was, for a while, no money bid for argument, unless the poet and the player went to cuffs in the question.
Is it possible?
Oh, there's been much throwing about of brains.
Do the boys carry it away?
Aye, that they do, my lord. Hercules and his load, too.
Very strange, for my uncle is king of Denmark, and those that would make mouse at him while my father lived give 20, 40, 50, 100 ducats apiece for his picture and a little. His blood. There's something more in this, more than natural philosophy could find it out.
There are the players.
Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands, come then. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion ceremony. Let me comply with you in this garb, lest my extent to the players, which I tell you, must show fairly outward, should more appear like entertainment than yours. You are welcome. But my uncle father and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my dear lord?
I'm but mad, northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Well be with you, gentlemen.
Hark you, Guildenstern, and you too, at each ear a hearer. That great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling clouds.
Happily, he is the second time come to them, for they say an old man is twice a child.
I will prophesy he comes to tell me of the players. Mark it. You say right, sir. A Monday morning. 'Twas then indeed.
My lord, I have news to tell you.
My lord, I have news to tell you. When Roscius was an actor in Rome.
The actors are come hither, my lord.
Buzz.
Upon my honor.
Then come each actor on his ass.
The best actors in the world. Either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral, comical, historical, pastoral, tragical, historical, tragical, comical, historical, pastoral, scene individable, or poem unlimited. Seneca cannot be too heavy, nor Plautus too light. Ooh, for the law of writ and the liberty, these are the only men.
Oh, Jephthah, judge of Israel, what a treasure hadst thou.
What a treasure had he, my lord?
Why, one fair daughter and no more, the which he loved passing well.
Still on my daughter.
Am I not in the right, old Jephthah?
If you call me Jephthah, my lord, I have a daughter that I love passing well.
Nay, that follows not.
What follows then, my lord?
Why, as by lot God wot, and then you know, it came to pass as most like it was. The first row of the pious chancel will show you more, for look where my abridgment comes. You are welcome, masters. Welcome, all. I am glad to see thee well. Welcome, good friends. My old friend, why, my face is pallid since I saw thee last. Comest thou to beard me in Denmark? What, my young lady, your mistress? Why, your lady is nearer to heaven than when I saw you last. At the altitude of a chopine. Pray God, your voice like a piece of uncurrent gold be not cracked within the ring. Masters, you are welcome. Well, into it, like French falconers, fly at anything we see, we'll have a speech straight. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my lord?
I heard thee speak me a speech once, but it was never acted, or if it was, not above once. For the play, I remember, pleased not the million. 'Twas caviary to the general, but it was, as I received it, and others whose judgment in such matters cried in the tops of mine, an excellent play. Well digested in the scene, set down with as much modesty as cunning. I remember one said there was no saliets in the line to make the matter savory, nor matter in the phrase that might indict the author of affection. Called it an honest method. As wholesome, as sweet, and by very much more handsome than fine. One speech in it I chiefly loved. 'Twas Aeneas' tale to Dido, thereabout, especially when he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hycerian beast. So it begins with Pyrrhus. The rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the knight resemble when he lay couched in the ominous horse, hath now this dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal head to foot. Now is he total ghouls, horridly tricked with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, baked and impasted with the parching streets, and led a tyrannous and damned light to their lord's murder, roasted in wrath and fire, and thus o'ersized with a coagulate gore, with eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pyrrhus, old grandsire Priam seeks. So proceed you.
Anon, he finds him striking too short at the Greeks. His unique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command. Unequal matched, Pyrrhus at Priam drives, in a rage strikes wide, but with the whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow, with flaming top stoops to his base, and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of Reverend Priam, seemed in the air to stick. So as the painted tyrant Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral, to his will and matter did nothing. But, as we often see, against some storm, a silence in the heavens, and rack stands still, the bold wind speechless, and the orb below as hush as death. Anon the dreadful thunder doth rend the region. So after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him to a new work, and never did the Cyclops' hammer fall on Mars' armor, forged for proof in Tray. With less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam. Out, out, thou strumpet fortune! Are you gods in general Sniad? Take away her power, break all the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and bowl and round knave down the hill of heaven as low to the fiends.
This is too long.
Shall to the barber's with your beard. Prithee, say on. He's for a jig or a tale of bawdry, or he sleeps. Say on. Come to Hecuba.
What? Woe, woe! Had seen the Mobilid queen.
Mobilid queen?
That's good. Mobilid queen is good.
Run barefoot up and down, threatening the flames with bison roam. A cloud upon the head where late the diadem stood, and for a robe about her lank and all o'er it termed loins, a blanket in the alarm of fear caught up. Who had this scene with tongue and venom steeped, 'gainst fortune's state would treason have pronounced, but in the gods themselves did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus take malicious sport in wincing with her sword her husband's limbs. The instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move them not at all, would have made melt the burning eyes of heaven in passion in the gods.
Look where'er she has not turned her color and has tears in her eyes. No, prithee, no more.
'Tis well. I'll have thee speak out the rest of this soon. Good my lord, will you see the players well bestowed? Do you hear? Let them be well used, for they are the abstract and brief chronicles of the time. After your death, you were better have a bad epitaph than their ill report while you live.
My lord, I will use them according to their desert.
God's bodikins, man, much better. Use every man after his desert, and who shall scape whipping? Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in.
Come, sirs.
Follow him, friends. We'll hear a play tomorrow. Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play The Murder of Gonzago?
Oh, aye, my lord.
We'll have it tomorrow night. You could, for need, study a speech of some dozen or 16 lines, which I could set down and insert, and could you not?
Aye, my lord.
Very well. Follow that lord, and look you, mock him not. My good friends, I'll leave you till tonight. You are welcome in Elsinore.
Good, my lord.
Aye, so goodbye to you. I'm alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I? Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul to, so to his own conceit that from her working all his vigils wane? Tears in his eyes, a distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit. And all for nothing. For Hecuba. Oh, what's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba? She would weep for her. What would he do had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. And I, dull and muddy meddled rascal, peak like John of Dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king upon whose property and most dear life and damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain? Breaks my pate across, plucks off my beard, and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie in the throat as deep as to the lungs, and who does me this? Swells. I shall take it, for it cannot be, but I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter, or ere this should I have fatted all the region kites with this slave's offal. Bloody villain, remorseless, treacherous, kindless villain. Oh, vengeance! What an ass am I! This is most brave that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must like a whore unpack my heart with words and fall cursing like a very drab stallion. Fly upon it. About my brains. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting in a play have, by the very cutting of the scene, been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, will speak most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tint him to the quick. If he do blench, I know my course. If the spirit that I have seen may be a devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape, yea, and perhaps out of my weakness and melancholy, and he is very potent with such spirits that abuses me to damn me. I have more grounds relative to this. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
Act 3, Scene 1.
And can you by no drift of conference get from him why he puts on this confusion, grating so harshly all his days of quiet with turbulent and dangerous lunacy?
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak.
Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof when we would bring him onto some confession of his true state.
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman.
But with much forcing of his disposition.
Niggards of question, but our demands most free in his reply.
Did you essay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain players we o'erwrought on the way, of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are here about the court, and as I think they have already ordered, this night to play before him.
'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge and drive his purpose into these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, and he, as 'twere by accident, may here affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful espials, will so bestow ourselves that, seeing, unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by him, as he has behaved, if it be the affliction of his love or no, that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Read on this book, that show of such an exercise may color your loneliness. We are oft to blame in this. It is too much proved that with devotions, visage, and pious action, we do sugar o'er the devil himself.
Oh, 'tis too true. How smart a lash that speech doth give my conscience. The harlot's cheek beautied with plastering art is not more ugly to the thing that helps it than is my deed to my most painted word. Oh, heavy burden.
I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler to suffer, is less noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or take up arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep, no more. By a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. In that sleep of death, what dreams may come. We have shuffled off this mortal coil. Must give us pause. The respect that makes calamity of so long life. Who would bear the whips and scorns of time, and the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, and the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns, and the patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might as quiet as bake with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that would dread of something after death? The undiscovered country from whose bourne no travelers return. It puzzles the will and makes us rather bear the ills we have than to fly others we know not of. Thus conscience makes cowards of us all. And thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought. Enterprises of great pitch and moment with disregard the currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Soft you now, fair Ophelia, nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
Good, my lord. How does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well,
My lord, I have remembrance of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No. Not I never gave you up.
My lord, honored lord, you know right well you did, and with them words of so sweet breathed composed as made the things more rich, their perfume lost. Take these again, for to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There it is, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty for what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty to his likeness. This was something of sometime a paradox, but now time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. Most of such fellows as I do crawling between earth and heaven. We are errant knaves, all. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where is your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Oh, help you sweet heavens.
If thou dost marry, I give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Farewell. Or, if thou wilt needs marry, marry a fool. For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, go, and quickly too.
Heavenly
Farewell.
power, restore him.
I've heard of your paintings too, well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, and you amble, and you lisp, you nickname God's creatures, and you make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to. Oh, no more on it hath made me mad. I say we'll have no more marriage. Those that are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery. Go.
Oh, what a noble mind is thrown. The courtiers, soldiers, and scholars, eye, tongue swore the expectancies and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion in the warm, the observed of all observers, quite down. And I of ladies most dejected and wretched, that sucked the honey of his mystic vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason like sweet bells jangled out of time and harsh. That unmatched form and stature of youth blown blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me! I have seen what I have seen. What I see what I see.
Love. His affections do not that way tend, nor would he speak of it from a little not like madness. There's something in his soul, o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and disclose will be some danger. Which for to prevent, I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England, for the demand of our neglected tribute. Happily the seas and the countries different, with variable objects shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beating puts them thus from fashion of himself. What think you, aunt?
Shall do well, but yet I do believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please, but if you hold it fit, after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, well, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Act 3, Scene 2.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of our players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. Nor do not salt too much with your hands thus, but use all gently, for in the very torrent and tempest, and as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. What offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings who, for the most part, are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for o'erdoing termagant. In it out Herod's Herod. Pray you avoid it.
I warned your honor.
Be not too tame, neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word and the word to the action, with a special observance that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature. For anything so o'erdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to hold as 'twere the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time is form and pressure. Now this overdone will come tardy off, though it makes the unskillful laugh, cannot make the judicious grieve. The censure of the which one must in your allowance or weigh in a whole theatre of others. Oh, there be players that I have seen play and heard others praise and all that highly, not to speak it profanely, that neither having the accent of the Christians, nor the gait of the Christian, pagan, nor man, have so strutted and bellowed that I have thought some of nature's journeymen had made men, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so.
I hope we have reformed that indifferently with us, sir.
Oh, reform it altogether. And let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. For there be of them that will themselves laugh, and to set on some quantity of barren spectators that laugh too. Though in the meantime, some necessary questions of the play be then to be considered. That's villainous, and shows a most pitiful ambition in the fool that uses it. Go make you ready. How now, my lord? Will the king hear this piece of work?
And the queen too, and that presently.
Bid the players make haste. Will you two help him to haste them?
Aye, my lord.
What ho, Horatio?
Here, sweet lord, at your service.
Horatio, thou art even as just a man as ever conversation copped withal.
Oh, my dear lord.
Nay, do not think I flatter. For what advancement may I hope from thee that no revenue has but thy good spirits to feed and clothe thee? Why should the poor be flattered? No. Let the candied tongue lick absurd pomp and crook the pregnant hinges of the knee, where thrift may follow fawning. Thou here, since my dear soul was mistress of her choice, and could of men distinguish her election, hath sealed thee for herself. Thou hast been as one of suffering, and all that suffers, all that suffers nothing. Man that fortune's buffets and rewards has taken with equal thanks. Blessed are those whose blood and judgment are so well commedled, that they are not a pipe for fortune's finger to sound what stops she please. Give me that man that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core. Aye, in my heart of hearts, as I do thee. Something too much of this. There's a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near to the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest that act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe my uncle. If his occulted guilt did not itself unkindle in one speech, it is a damned ghost that we have seen, and my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stithy. Give him heedful note, for I mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if he steals aught this whiles this play is playing and escape detecting, I will pay you theft.
They are coming to the play. I must be idle. Get you a place.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Excellent in faith of the chameleon's dish. I eat the air, promise crammed. You cannot feed capons so.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
No, nor mine now. My lord, you played it once in the university, you say?
That I did, my lord, and was accounted a good actor.
What did you enact?
I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
'Twas a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Be the players ready.
Aye, my lord. They stay upon your patience.
Come hither, my dear Hamlet. Sit by me.
No, good mother. Here's a medal more attractive.
Oh, who do you mark that?
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Do you think I'm in country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
That's a fair thought. To lie between maids' legs.
What is, my lord?
Nothing.
You're merry, my lord.
Who, I?
Aye, my lord.
Oh, God. You're only jig-maker. What should a man do but be merry? For look how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long. Nay, then, let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sables. Oh, Evans died 2 months ago, and not yet forgotten. Then there's a hope great man's memory may outlive his life half a year. But by Our Lady, he must build churches then, or else shall he suffer, not thinking on with the hobby horse, whose epitaph is, for oh, the hobby horse is forgot. Mary, this is Michin, Maecho. It means mischief.
Feel like this shows and reports the argument of the play.
We shall know by this fellow. The players cannot keep counsel. They'll tell all.
Will he tell us what the show is meant?
Aye, or any show that you will show him, be not you ashamed to show. He'll not shame to tell you what it means.
You are not. You are not. I'll mark the play.
For us and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Is this a prologue or a posy of a ring?
'Tis brief, my lord.
As woman's love.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus' cart gone round, Neptune's salt wash and Tellus' orbed ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen about the world have times 12 30s been. Since love our hearts and Hymen did our hands unite in commutual in most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count o'er ere love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state that I distrust you. Yet though I distrust, discomfort you, my lord, it nothing must. For women fear too much, even as they love, and women's fear and love hold quantity in neither aught or in extremity. Now what my love is, proof hath made you know, and as my love is sized, my fear is so. Where love is great, the littlest doubts are fear. Where little fears grow great, great love grows there.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operate powers their functions leave to do. And thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and haply one as kind. For husband shalt thou.
Oh, confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. In second husband, let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first.
That's wormwood.
The instances that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I killed my husband dead when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak. But what we do determine oft we break. Purpose is but the slave to memory, of violent birth but poor validity, which now like fruit unripe sticks on the tree, but fall unshaken when they mellow be. Most necessary 'tis that we forget to pay ourselves what to ourselves is dead. What to ourselves in passion we propose, the passion ending doth the purpose lose. The violence of either grief or joy, their own enactors with themselves destroy. Where joy most revels, grief doth most lament. Grief joys, joy grieves on slender accident. This world is not for I, nor 'tis not strange that even our loves should with our fortunes change. For 'tis a question left us yet to prove, whether love lead fortune or else fortune love. The great man down, you mark his favorite flies. The poor advanced makes friends of enemies. And hitherto doth love on fortune tend. For who not needs shall never lack a friend. And who in want a hollow friend doth try, directly seasons him his enemy. But orderly to end where I begun. Our wills and fates do so contrary run, that our devices still are overthrown. Our thoughts are ours, their ends, none of their own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to give me food, nor heaven light, sport and repose lock from me day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope, and anchor's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy, meet what I would have well, and it destroy. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife, if once a widow, ever I be wife.
If she should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn, sweet. Leave me here for a while. My spirits grow dull and fain, I would beguile. No, the tedious day, sleep.
Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in't?
No, they do but jest, poison in jest. No offense in the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. Mary, how? Tropically, this play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the duke's name, his wife, Baptista. You shall see anon. 'Tis a knavish piece of work. But what of that? Your Majesty and we that have free souls, it touches us not. Let the gall jade win, so withers are unwrung. This one is Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You're as good as a chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love if I could see the puppets dallying.
You are keen, my lord, you are keen.
It would cost you a groaning to take off mine edge.
Still better and worse.
So you mistake your husbands. Begin, murderer. Pox, leave thy damnable faces and begin. Come the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature seeing. Thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's band thrice blasted, thrice infected, thy natural magic and dire property on wholesome life usurp immediately.
He poisons him in the garden for his estate. His name's Gonzago. The story's an extant and written in very choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love Gonzago's wife.
The king rises.
What? Frighted with false fire?
How fares my lord?
Give her the play.
Give me some light. Away.
Lights, lights, lights!
Why, the shrunken deer go weep, the harder than gold to play. For some must watch while some must sleep. Thus runs the world away. For not this, sir, and a forest of feathers if the rest of my fortunes turk with me. Provincial roses on my razor choose give me a fellowship and a cry of players.
Half a share.
A whole one, No, a Damon dear, the realm dismantled was, of Jove himself and now reigns here. Very, very pajog.
You might have rhymed.
Oh, good Horatio, I'll take the ghost's word for £1,000.
Very well, my lord.
On the talk of the poisoning.
I did very well note him.
Come, some music. Come, the recorders. For if the king like not the comedy, why then be like he likes it not pretty. Come, some music.
Good, my lord, vouchsafe me a word with you.
Sir, a whole history.
The king, sir.
Aye, sir, what of him?
Is in his retirement marvelous distempered.
With drink, sir?
No, my lord, with choler.
Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to the doctor. For me to put him into his purgation would perhaps plunge him into more choler.
Good, my lord. Put your discourse into some frame and start not so wildly from my affair.
I am tame, sir. Pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, good my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. Sir, such answer as I can make, you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more but to the matter. My mother, you say.
Then thus she says your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration.
Wonderful. Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother. Is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration? Impart.
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
we shall obey, where she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
And do still. These pickers and stealers.
Good, my lord. What is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Aye, sir. While the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. Oh, the recorders. Let me see one. To withdraw with you. Why do you go about to recover the wind of me as you would drive me into a toil?
Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
My lord, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
It's as easy as lying. Govern these vintages with your fingers and thumb. Give it your breath. Give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot. I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why? Look you now, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of mystery. You would sound me from the lowest note to the top of my compass, and there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ. And cannot you make it speak? Slut. Do you think I am easier to be played upon than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me, you cannot play me. God bless you, sir.
My lord, the queen would speak with you, and presently.
Do you see yonder cloud that's almost in the shape of a camel?
By my mass, and 'tis like a camel indeed.
Methinks it looks like a weasel.
It is backed like a weasel.
Like a whale.
Very like a whale.
And I will come to my mother by and by. They fool me to the top of my bent. I will come by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me. Friends, it's now the very witching time of night, when the churchyard's yawn and hell itself breathes out. And hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. How can I drink hot blood? Do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on it. Soft. Now to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words somever she be shent to give them seals, never my soul consent.
I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness range. Therefore prepare you. I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you. The terms of our estate may not endure hazard so near as doth hourly grow out of his brows.
We will ourselves provide. Most holy and religious fear it is to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
The single and peculiar life is bound with all the strength and armor of the mind to keep itself from annoyance, but much more that spirit upon whose will depends the lives of many. The cess of majesty dies not alone, but like a gulf doth draw what's near it with it, or it is a massy wheel fixed on the summit of the highest mountain, to whose huge spokes 10,000 lesser things are mortized and adjoined, which when it falls, each small annexment, petty consequence, attends the boisterous ruin. Never alone did the king sigh, but with a general groan.
Arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, for we will fetters put about this fear which now goes too free-footed.
We will haste us.
My lord, he's going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras, I'll convey myself to hear the process. A warrant shall tax him home, and, as you said, and wisely it was said, 'tis meet that some more audience than a mother, since nature makes them partial, should o'erhear the speech of vantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know.
Thanks, my dear lord. Oh. My offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon't, a brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. And like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoned, being down? Then I'll look up. My fault is past. But, oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder. It cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder, my crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain defense. In the corrupted currents of this world, offense's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft is seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give in evidence. What then? What rest? Try what repentance can, what can it not? Yet what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state! O bosom black as death! O limed soul that, struggling to be free, art more engaged! Help! Angels, make us set! Bow, stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Might I do it? Now he is praying, and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven. And so am I revenged. I would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain sin to heaven. And this is higher in salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown as flush as May, and how his audit stands, who now save heaven, but in our circumstance and course of thought is heavy with him. And I am then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul, when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Oh, sword. And know thou a more horrid hint. He is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, the game of swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it. Then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell, whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
He will come straight. Look you, lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat and him. I'll silence me even here. Pray you, be round with him.
Mother! Mother! Mother!
I'll warrant you. Fear me not. Withdraw. I hear him coming.
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rod not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and, were it not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come, sit you down. You shall not budge. You'll go not till I set you up a glass, where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help! Help!
But help! 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 Help!
How now?
Help!
A rat, dead for a ducat, dead.
Oh, I am slain.
Oh me! What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this!
A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
Kill a king?
Aye, lady, it was my word. Oh, thou wretched, rash, intruding fool! Farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou findest to be too busy in some danger. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace, sit you down, and let me wring your heart, for so I shall if it be made of penetrable stuff. Damned custom has not braced it so that it be proof and bulwark against sense.
What have I done, that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty. Was virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love and sets a blister there. Makes marriage vows as false as dicers' oaths. Oh, such a deed is from the body of a contraction, plucks the very soul in sweet religion, makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face does glow o'er this solidity and compound mass with heated visage as against the doom, is thought sick at the act.
Me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here, look upon this counterfeit presentment of two brothers. You see what a grace was set upon this brow. Hyperion's curls the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury new lighted on heaven's kissing hill. A combination and form indeed where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband. Like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you o' this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Have you eyes? You cannot call it love. For at your age the heyday and the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment, and what judgment would steep from this to this? Since sure you have, what else could you not have motion, but sure that this sense is apoplexed? For madness would not add nor sense to ecstasy was ne'er so thralled, but it reserves some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. What devil was it that thus hath cozened you at hoodman blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sons all, or but a sickly part of what true sense could not so mope. Oh, shame! Where is thy blush, rebellious hoe? If thou couldst mute in matron's boast to flame in youth, let virtue be as wax and melt in her own fire. Proclaim no shame when the compulsive art against the church its frost itself as actively doth burn, and reason panders will.
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turnest my eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tinct.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty side.
Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in my ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain. A slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your president lord, a vice of kings, a catpurse of the empire, and the rule that from a shelf and precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
No more!
A king of shreds and patches. With your wings, you heavenly gods. Oh, your gracious figure.
Alas, he's mad.
Do not you come, your tardy son to chide. Lapse in time and passion, let's go by the important acting on your dread command. Say!
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit and weakest bodies, strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is it with you that you do bend your eye on vacancy and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Forth at your eyes, your spirits wildly peep, and as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hair like life and excrements start up and stand and end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper, sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look?
On him. On him. Look you, how pale he glares. His form and cause conjoined. Preaching to stones would make them capable. Do not look upon me, as with this piteous action you convert my stern effects, that what I have to do will want true color. Tears, perchance, for blood.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all. Yet all that is I see.
Or did you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Look how it steals away my father in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes, even now, out the portal.
This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation, ecstasy, is very cunning in.
Ecstasy? My pulse, as yours, doth temperately keep time and makes his healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and in the matter I will reward which madness would gamble from. Mother, for the love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ursurous place, while rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past. Avoid what is to come. And do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker. Forgive me this my virtue, for in the fatness of these pursy times, virtue itself of vice must pardon beg. Curb and woo for leave to do him good.
Oh, Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, Throw away the worser part of it, and live the pure with the other half. Good night. But go not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. That monster custom who all sins doth eat, of habit's devil is angel yet in this. That you to the use of actions fair and good, he likewise gives a frock or livery that aptly is put on. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kindness of easiness to the next abstinence, and the next more easy, for use almost can change the stamp of nature, and either the devil or throw him out with wanderance potency. Once more, good night, and when you are desirous to be blessed, all blessing beg of you. For the same Lord, I do repent. But heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. This bad begins, and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Not this by no means that I bid you do. Let the blue king tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton in your cheeks, call you his mouse, and let him, and forbear reaching kisses or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers, make you unravel all this, mutter out that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good let him know for what's but a queen, fair, sober, wise, from a paddock, from a gib, such dear concernings hide. Who would do so? No, in despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket on the house's top. Let the birds fly, and like their famous ape, try conclusions in the basket creep. And break your own neck down.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
I must to England. You know that.
Alack, I had forgot. This concluded on.
There's letters sealed, and my two schoolfellows, whom I trust as I will as adders fanged, they bear the mandate, and they must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery. Let it work. 'Tis the sport to have the engineer hoist in his own petard, and it shall go hard, but I'll delve 1 yard below their minds and blow them at the moon. Oh, 'tis most sweet when one line two crafts directly meet. This man shall set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighbor room. Mother, good night indeed. This counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who is in his life a foolish prating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you.